Hello, YouTube. Yes, once again, I am doing my walk and vlogging, I guess this is called. Yeah, I kind of enjoy this, honestly. It's been very therapeutic in a way. Just walking, finding a way to make videos and content, but in a way that's not sitting behind a desk and, setting up lights and stuff like that. Just finding a way to, I guess, be mobile and active, because this is like a more affordable way of doing it, honestly, because I could easily I guess another way of doing this would be like to be on a treadmill and setting up the camera while I'm on the treadmill, but economic reasons spell me to find a more affordable way of doing this. So walking pretty much. But yeah, I mean, wow, so much. Has anybody watched Shogun? The series finale, sadly, was last night, yesterday. So, yeah, Shogun's a awesome show. If anybody who has not seen it yet, wow, just the historical drama of it. Like, I love Shogun. Like, I started watching it late because when I started watching it, episode 4 was already out. So I binge watched the first 3. But yeah, like, Jesus, man. This show was just amazing. Like, amazing. Like, this show is just, like, this is like, wow, they did such a fantastic job with this show. Like, I honestly can't believe how good this show really was, or is. I mean, they said it's a limited series, so they're not planning to make season 2, but wow, this show is like, they really made sure that this was faithful to the source material, as faithful could be. They did change a few things for the better, in my opinion, from the novel. They changed and minor few things, but also, obviously, this is based off of some historical facts. There's not that much record now about the actual events outside of the major historical events. There isn't much about like the characters and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, from the set pieces to the scenery, wow. Because this show was not filmed in Japan. This show was actually filmed in Canada, in British Columbia, Vancouver, and I believe they did do some shots in England. So this show was not filmed in Japan, and yet it honestly made you feel like you were in 16th century Japan. That's how crazy this show was, with how meticulous they were with like set pieces and everything. Just making sure everything fit within like their goals, because wow, this show looked amazing. And I think that goes to show like what a lot of shows are missing, I feel like now, is that meticulously detailed. Like those little things that make it seem good. The backgrounds, the furniture, not just the actors and not just what they're wearing, but their surroundings, their mannerisms, how they conduct themselves. This is why this show is so awesome, because they focus on these little details. They really do. And I was just watching, I was like, wow, like, this is what a masterpiece feels like. This is what a masterpiece show feels like. Like that A+ tier, that S tier profession. Like, these are masters at their craft. From the prop makers to the cinematographer to the visual effects people, the special effects people, the makeup artists, the actors, producers. Like, this is what S tier level is in terms of cinematography filmmaking. Like, these guys took it to a whole other level. And Jesus, man, it really showed. It really showed how good these guys were. You know, they really took this not just seriously, but respected and honored the actual traditions of the Japanese culture, as well as the time period. And from what I read, they even treated like background actors, non-speaking roles. They even treated them as like they were stars as well. And I was reading that, including the background actors that they flew in from Japan to actually Canada, they were given a substantial raise. I think it was 50,000 yen a day or something like that, in terms of the average Japanese payment of around 5,000 yens a day, give or take, something around there. But yeah, like, they've really made sure like these guys were well taken care of, and the background actors as well. Like, they understood their roles. You know, their roles were to solidify this illusion of 16th century Japan. Like, that is their job, to make sure like you are transported into that time period of Japan. So they did everything they could to make sure like you forget that this is not Japan. This is not 16th century Japan. Like, this is not fiction, you know. This is not Canada. They're in Japan. This is dumb. These are not actors. These are the characters. Like, you are getting a third eye view of what happened back then. At least their interpretation of it, obviously. And yeah, like, it was just, wow, this finale was so good. And the fact that there was very little action shows how well a character driven plot, a dialogue driven plot can be. Because a lot of people, if they don't see action, they don't see guns blazing, people's heads getting chopped off, you know, blown up, they lose interest. You know, they lose interest. They find heavy dialogue boring, you know, non-interactive, you know, just not fun in general. But these guys are so good at what they do that they make you listen to them. They really do make you I mean, when like Blackthorn is screaming at Toranaga, I used you! Like, I was going to use you! Don't you get that? Like, you could really feel the grief, the anger, the frustration, the sorrow. Like, you see that in his performance. Like, you feel that. And when you finally, like, when Toranaga is not explaining, but telling his grand plan of how good he was at manipulating people and manipulating the politics in his favor. And the fact is, like, you're like, this guy is on a whole other level. Like, when he declared war in that first episode, he was already 10 steps ahead of everybody. Like, he was already 10 steps ahead of everybody. He already had everything in place. He was already moving pieces. And by the time Ishida and the regents were like, we're going to mobilize our army, we're going to mobilize our forces, they already lost. They just didn't know it. They already lost because they were so far behind in the game. They couldn't have, you know, they didn't have the foresight to see Toranaga's plan, or what his plan truly was. Like, he won this war, this battle, without a single actual battle being waged. That is crazy. That's how, like, that is how this is why he is, like, you know, the lord, you know, the ring general. Like, this is why he is, like, feared, revered, and known in the land. Like, this is why. Like, this is how good he is at what he does. And the fact that he acknowledges, like not acknowledges it in a way, because Mariko says it best in the show. She was like, don't let our kind demeanor and our respectfulness and all that fool you. Like, don't let that fool you. Our true natures, we carry that sucker deep in our hearts, locked in key, triple security locks, combinations, keys, fingerprints, DNA scanner locks. Like, they keep their true intentions and motives a secret from everybody. And Toranaga is a master at that. Like, he kept his plan secret from everybody, his true plan. And he created this facade. And he took that facade to the next level. Like, he was massacring his own citizens to keep up the rouge in episode 10. Like, that is just crazy. Like, that is just crazy. He kept up the rouge all the way to the end. And I love the end with Blackthorn smiling, smirking, because he finally, like, sees the glimpse of what Toranaga's plan really is. Like, he finally starts to understand everything. To what extent, I have no idea, because obviously the show ends, but it is just such a fantastic show. Honestly, if you want to binge a good show, and if you love like Vikings and Game of Thrones and House of Dragons and Black Sails and all these great historical shows, The Lost Kingdom on Netflix, that's another great show. Tokyo Vice is another great show. That one is on Max. I highly recommend that one too. So if you like these type of shows, honestly, Shogun, wow, that's a very heavy motorcycle. Oh, that's a nice chopper though. That's a beautiful sounding chopper. But yeah, like, if you are a fan of these shows, you should definitely watch Shogun. It's airing on FX. Well, it did, but it's on Hulu, Disney Plus, which is strange, but yes, it's on Hulu and it's on Disney Plus. So I highly recommend you get that free trial, that 7-day free trial of Hulu, binge it, and then cancel Hulu before they charge you. That's what I do. And then, like, create another email account and do it all over again when there's a new show out. So, but no, I don't. Like, that's against the law, so I don't recommend that. Please, come on, guys. No. But yeah, like, it's such an awesome show. Like, oh my God, I don't know how much more I could talk about this show without being redundant, but just go watch that show. And this morning, actually, right before I actually started going for my walk, I finished watching X-Men 97, their new episode. I believe it's episode 7. Wow. This is another one. Like, we had 2 bangers back to back. We had the series finale of Shogun, and we got another banger literally the next day of X-Men 97. Like, we are getting spoiled, man. I am getting spoiled with all of these bangers. I'm telling you, like, we are getting spoiled with this classic comedy. Wow, my shoe, like, got pebbles stuck in my shoe. Telling you, man. Rocks and pebbles, man. I don't know how in the world that rock pebble got into my shoe. But I'm telling you, like, we're getting spoiled with all these great shows, man. Because X-Men 97, now I'm starting to see what the showrunner said. Because the showrunner was like, episode 1 through 5 is pre 9/11, and then 6 through 10 or 6 through 12 or the rest of it is post 9/11. Like, I'm finally seeing what he means, because this is like, this really does mirror post 9/11. Like, it really does. Like, the aftermath of September 11th, it really does. I mean, wow, like, 9/11 is still, like, I still remember it because it was 2001. I was 14, so I was a freshman in high school. So, I mean, yeah, like, who wouldn't forget 9/11? Oh wow, that's such a beautiful dog. Such a beautiful dog. But yeah, like 9/11, like we all remember 9/11. Like I think we all remember the day. Like where were you when 9/11 happened? Like I think we all remember that moment because it's such a sad moment in the history of the human race and stuff like that. Like it's so sad, especially in America. I still have my grandmother has a photo of the Twin Towers because I've actually remember we took my cousins to see New York. This is before 9/11, obviously, and they never been to New York, so we took them to go see New York, and we took them to see the Statue of Liberty, the Twin Towers, downtown Manhattan, and just great. So we actually have a photo of the Twin Towers when they were still up. So yeah, but this episode, I mean, it's crazy because if like okay, cable is back obviously, but it feels like they're not going to reverse time. Like they're not going to go back in time and like reverse what happened in actually Genosha. So it looks like all of these deaths are permanent. It honestly does. It honestly feels like all of these deaths are actually permanent. Um, and if it is permanent, then such a sad man. Tree's broken. But yeah, if it is permanent, I mean, obviously, Gambit, R.I.P. Remy LeBeau, he went out in a blaze of glory. Like this is how Gambit, wanted to go out. Like they did Gambit justice. Like how hard I feel like they mistreated Gambit in the beginning of this series because I'm a huge Gambit fan. I love Gambit, but yeah, like he went out a hero. Like he went out saving his woman, trying to defend the mutant race. I mean, they talk about Magneto and Omega level mutant. I mean, Gambit showed off like why he is a powerful mutant. Like Gambit is an Omega level mutant. He's just purposely, restrains his powers, but he is a powerful mutant. I mean, he has literally power over kinetic energy. Like he could literally stop the planet if he felt like it. Which is a bit of exaggeration, but he's on a level, he's an Omega level mutant. He's up there with Charles Xavier and Magneto and all of them. He's really up there. And he shows off his abilities, And it's just like, wow, like he really he protects Rogue and stuff like that. And just he goes off in a blast of glory in episode 5. Like if you haven't seen the show, like it's fantastic. Like especially episode 5 with the Genosha Massacre. Obviously that part's not great, but but yeah. It's such a fantastic show. Now crossing the street now. Crossing the street. I said, this is the bad thing about this show. Because I could go underneath the bridge, but give a 5-second break. Walking. Oh, great. It's a green light. Yeah, me in the middle of the street. Me in the middle of the street. And it's a green light. This is why you should always never cross the street in a green light. Back on the trail. Back on the trail. But yeah, Gambit, I mean, did he go out in a blaze of glory? I mean, and his funeral, like I even teared up. Like I got emotional in this funeral. Like the Nightcrawler was one of the survivors, so he's the priest. And yeah, like he gave such a beautiful speech about, Remy Gambit and his life and the way he lived his life and, how he felt he's beyond redemption. But at the end, like he not only redeemed himself, but he died a hero. And, it's just crazy. Like, it is just crazy. Like, X-Men going to Genosha, and the whole process of trying to be a beacon of hope and still searching for survivors, because the government kind of gave up on the whole searching for survivors, continuing to search for survivors, stuff like that, because all the people that they recovered were just dead bodies. So very reminiscent of 9/11. So yeah, like, it's such an impactful episode. Like, it really was. It really was an impactful episode, and it's crazy. Like, Rogue went full on scorch earth, because like, everybody processed grief in their own way, but Rogue was not processing her grief. She was just angry. She just was angry. Like, she channeled all of her grief into a single target, and it's the people responsible for like the Genosha massacre. And you see her going all Superman, just full max speed, going to the military base, is completely wiping the floor with the soldiers, doing her rider kick. Oh my God, when they did the rider kick. If you guys don't know, rider kick is one of her moves in Marvel vs. Capcom. Awesome game. So yeah, they finally did her rider kick. Awesome. And like, she just goes on full scorch earth. They showcase Captain America. They are bringing in the greater Marvel universe by bringing in Captain America. I heard a rumor that Spider-Man might return in one of the episodes. So I'm kind of happy, crossing my fingers, that it might happen. Because obviously in Spider-Man anime series, we did get that crossover with the X-Men in the original series. So yeah, I'm hoping they do Spider-Man the animated series. Maybe Spider-Man 98 or something. Hoping for that too. And we get to meet Captain America, and that's cool. And Rogue throws his shield away. Like, she uses all her strength and she throws that shield. And Captain America, forever the Boy Scout, trying to do the right thing. Awesome. Like, this episode was just so awesome. And yeah, man, we finally get to see Rogue grieving, and being supportive, being surrounded by her friends, honestly. And that was probably one of the saddest moments too, because she finally, like, she was ignoring her grief. She really was. And then, like, she finally had a time to grieve, and I think Nightcrawler is probably the best person to undo it, because not only because he's a man of faith, but also I feel like he's just the most calm person in that entire X-Men team. He's like the most level-headed and the most empathic, and I think he was the best person to be the front runner. And then you see the other X-Men behind her, giving her moment, but also saying, we're a family. And yeah, such an iconic episode. And obviously her iconic moment of just giving no shiznicks and just dropping the guy off a building. And Cable returning, Cyclops figuring out that that's his son Nathan. Just awesome episodes. So yeah, I mean, we got 2 bangers, guys. 2 bangers. And this is where I'm probably going to end this video, because I am almost home. And yeah, such a banger, guys. Thank you so much. If you like this vlog and you want more of these, talking about, I guess, personal stuff and also my favorite episodes, you know what to do, guys. Leave a comment below, like, subscribe if you want more content. Obviously, I'm working on a few projects right now. I'm working on rebuilding my Patreon. Working on a few stuff. I will let you guys know how that's all doing, maybe in a follow-up video. I'll probably do some content creation later on today, or actually tomorrow. But yeah, guys, it's a beautiful day out today. It's a beautiful Wednesday, guys. Enjoy this beautiful day. Be kind to each other and have an awesome day.